Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We had a little technical difficulty, but we're going to get started. So we're talking about career readiness, work readiness all week. Today we are talking about it as well. So hopefully we'll have some people join us this morning. And we'll go ahead and get started. When we talk about career success, if you even just Google that phrase, career success, you'll find lots of articles, lots of information about what you can do to be successful in your career. And you'll see that a lot of people that have written about this, they've come up with the 4 C's of career success. Do we have anyone that's joined us yet? All right, well, great. We're glad you're here. Make sure to comment if you'd like. When you hear career success, you might think, well, is that, for adults, a career that seems like something you have for a long time as an adult. What I want you to think about is career success, but also just a job success and being successful in life. So has anyone heard of the 4 C's of success? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but it's a good time to start thinking about it now. If you are thinking about applying for a job, you're wanting to have a job, having this information in your back pocket is going to really be helpful because employers are looking for people that have these 4 C's, these characteristics about themselves. So let me go ahead and walk you through what the 4 C's are, and then we're going to have a chance to practice them. So come on, take a look over here. Does anyone have a job or is ever to interview for a job? This might be familiar information to you. If you might think, oh yeah, someone asked me about this when I interviewed for a job. All right, so the 4 C's of career success. These are, and again, career, job, life. These are good skills to have to be successful in every part of your life. So really, employers are looking for someone who has creativity. They can problem solve in a new or exciting way. Someone who is good at communication, and that is a skill that you need to be able to communicate not only with your customers, but with your coworkers, also your boss. The 3rd C is critical thinking. So how can you problem solve and come up with some solutions to solve a problem? And the last one is collaboration. So we have creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. Have any of you heard of these before? Are you familiar with these? Or maybe you think, yeah, those are important things to have in mind as I'm applying for jobs. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about these. So these are really what employers have been saying. We're looking for people that have all of these things, that are able to come to the job and be creative, be able to communicate. They are able to be a critical thinker and they can collaborate, they can work with the team. So we're going to practice the creativity and the critical thinking. I'm going to read 2 scenarios and I want to see what you think. How would you solve that problem? So if you're watching and you'd like to comment, I'd appreciate that. That would be great. And see how we can use our creativity and our critical thinking in solving these. These problems might come up in a job that you have in the future. Maybe something happens at school. It's good to have this kind of thinking about this. Okay, so the first scenario that we're going to talk about says you work the counter at a busy fast food restaurant. A customer is placing a breakfast order and has several special requests. Some of the requests will require extra time and effort for you and the cooks, and fulfilling the request will hold up the line for other customers. What do you do? All right, so I'm going to give 3 solutions, and I want you to think about what would you do? How would you solve that problem? And first of all, think about, have you ever been that customer where you need to make substitutions or change your order? And how have the people solved it for you? And would you do it the same way? So here are 3 solutions. I want you to think about what would you do. The first one is you tell the customer you're sorry, but the restaurant is too busy for special orders. She'll have to accept the food as it is on the menu. Anyone think that's a good idea? That's what they would do? Or do you think that's not such a good idea? Make sure to comment and let us know what you think. All right, the second idea for a solution is take care of the special requests and ask for help from a manager or other employees to keep the line moving. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a good solution? Would you choose that? Would you do something different? All right, there's a 3rd solution idea here. Solution 3 says avoid getting into a conflict with the customer and keep the line moving by sending in the order without taking care of any special requests. So pretty much not taking care of what the customer asked. So what do you guys think about that idea? I think solution 1 and 3 don't solve the problem that the customer has, is that they need special requests. And it's avoiding that conflict. That might not be the very best for the customer, especially if they have health issues and they really need to make those changes, or that's just what they're choosing. So solution 2, it says take care of the special requests and ask for help from a manager or other employees to keep the line moving. What do you guys think? I think that would be the best solution for everyone. You don't want to keep the line held up, but also you want to be respectful of your customer. Anyone with me on that? I'm thinking that's a good choice. So we're using creativity. How can we solve that problem? What can we do? We're using critical thinking, using logic and reasoning to make a judgment call. Okay, and then maybe you can talk to your boss, your supervisor, and say, what can we do in the future if that happens to make it more of a streamlined approach? Okay, we're going to do one more scenario using our 4 C's of career success, focusing on creativity and critical thinking and problem solving as well. That's not a C, but that's important. Okay, scenario 2 is you work at a large movie theater. A new movie is just out and everyone wants to see it. The movie is rated R, so customers must be 17 years old to get in. Students from your school come to buy their tickets from you. You know that one is only 15 years old. What do you do? That's kind of an ethical choice, isn't it? Because you know that they're not 17. You know the rules of the movie theater. Does anyone work in a movie theater that had to do that? Let me give you the 3 solution ideas, and you can think about what would be the best choice. What would you do? So the first solution idea is to sell all of them tickets and just pretend you don't know that one is underage. That'd probably be really tempting because that might be uncomfortable to say, nope, sorry, it's against the rules. You might choose to do that, but I want you to think about what are the consequences of that choice. Okay, solution 2, explain that they are putting you in a bad situation, but sell them all the tickets and let them know they owe you a favor. That's kind of creative thinking, but is it the best choice for keeping your job and following the rules? I don't think so. Any comments, suggestions? What would you do if you were in that sticky situation? All right, there's one more solution idea. Solution 3 says, require everyone in the group to show identification proving they are 17 or older and refuse to sell a ticket to anyone who cannot. That sounds like the safest bet to make sure you're following the rules, keeping the movie theater following their rules, and you can really say that's the policy, it's not up to me. You can always default back to this is what I need to do, it's for my job. So I think that probably would be the best ethical choice, and also the one that would make your bosses happy and everyone else. So I'm thinking probably solution 3 would work best. Maybe there's another idea. You could always talk to your supervisor and say, what do I do? How could I solve that differently if I see kids from school that I know are too young? Those are just some ideas. But I think having these 4 C's of career or job success kind of in the back of your mind, when you're going to a job interview, if an employer says, so tell me, how would you solve this problem? Or how would you collaborate with this coworker? You can be like, well, the 4 C's of career success, this is really important. So kind of be familiar with those words. I want to go ahead and show you a couple different websites that you can look into and have some more information about this if you'd like. So this is, let me get my mouse here. It's called workitdaily.com. See the 4 C's to career success. There's lots of information for you to read about what that means. But then up here, you see where it says career quizzes. You can go ahead and log on in that. And if you think it's fun to take different quizzes, it's kind of fun. You can take a workplace persona quiz or your communication style quiz. And it really gives you an idea of how you would handle things in a job. So that's one fun website. And then just as a review of what we've already talked about, I'm going to go ahead and this is a really short video that will recap what we've talked about, the 4 C's of career success. So here we go.
Are your colleagues talking about the 4 C's lately? Are you stuck wondering what exactly your colleagues are talking about? I'm Chris Oak with AES, and today we're going to answer the question, what are the 4 C's of 21st century skills? The The 4Cs are 4 skills that students need in order to succeed in today's fast-paced digital workplaces. They include critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. In this video, we're going to dive deeper into each one. Critical thinking is important because at its core, it's all about solving complex problems. When students understand what critical thinking means, they can apply it to the problems that they encounter in everyday life, including those they find in a workplace. That means they don't have to wait around for somebody to give them direction when they encounter an issue, and they can actually solve it on their own initiative right away. The next skill in the 4Cs is creativity. Creativity is basically the way of thinking outside the box. Most teachers and administrators consider creativity to be something you find in music classes or art classes, even band. But the truth is that creativity can apply to a wide range of different examples in school and the workplace. An accountant who finds a way to save a company millions of dollars is a creative accountant. A marketing executive who thinks of the best new way to advertise a product can be a creative marketing executive. When you look at creativity in this way, you don't put it in a box, and instead you encourage your students to think about their own lives in ways that they may not have considered otherwise. The next skill is collaboration. Collaboration is simply the act of working together to achieve a common goal. No matter what a student does with their future careers, there are going to be times that they have to work in groups. That's why it's so crucial that they get their first exposure to that environment before they actually get into the workplace. They're going to have to face tough choices. Are they going to have to hardline for the opinion that they want the group to take, or are they going to have to make compromises for the sake of the others in their group, or maybe even the final product? At the end of the day, collaboration is a complex process, and the best way to get real experience with it is to practice it before you get into the workplace. The final skill on our list is communication. Communication is the practice of conveying your ideas and thoughts quickly and concisely. It's the easiest skill to practice and the hardest one to master. You may notice students improving with communication when they become more conscientious about the way that they speak, especially in front of their peers. When you see students making those adjustments to their speech, you know that they're consciously thinking about the process of communication and how they're being interpreted by those who hear them.
All right, so I thought that was a great, just a recap of what we talked about. So remember the 4 C's of career success, job success. We have creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. And maybe you can ask your parents if they have had to use these strategies in their jobs. Maybe one comes easier to them than others. And hopefully that will help. Take the quizzes online, check it out and see what areas you are strong in, areas that you can work on. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.